I'm sure this is true for most everybody in here, but pizza is by far one of my favorite foods. Seriously, I don't think it's ever possible for me to get tired of this circular wonder of the culinary arts. In fact, my first job in high school was working in a pizza kitchen, and I ate piles of the stuff while working there. Whenever a pizza got messed up, which probably happens more than you think, it would get put on a table in the back of the kitchen, and when you could always go grab a slice whenever you had a down moment in your shift. It was amazing. I ate so much pizza and never got sick of it. Now, confession time. Who in here has ever demolished an entire pizza by themselves? It's all right, it's a safe place, no judgment. In fact, I bet a lot of the hands in the air are those super skinny guys who are like 75 pounds soaking wet, and you wonder how it's scientifically possible. But let me tell you, I don't know how it works, but I was that kid, and somehow we can just eat tons of food. In fact, in high school, a buddy of mine and I, at least a couple times a week, we'd go to a place where you could get a large pizza for $5. And so each of us would chip in $2.50, and we'd take the pizza back to one of our houses, and we would destroy that thing in a matter of minutes. Seriously, we would not be satisfied until we were looking at just an empty, grease-stained box. It's truly one of my fondest childhood memories. But what would always happen, every single time, is that we would finish the pizza. Being growing teenage boys, a couple hours later, we would start to get hungry again. And it was in that moment when I opened up the fridge to see what else there was to eat that I always thought, why didn't we save any of that pizza? Why did we have to eat the entire thing? I mean, they had 10 slices, so let's say each of us took 3 slices. 3 for him, 3 for me. Beautiful. We'd be reasonably full after that. And then a couple hours later when we were hungry again, hey, look at that. There's 2 slices for each of us. Amazing. Yet despite having this thought hundreds of times, we never learned. We never changed our behavior. We just kept eating the entire pizza in one sitting every single time. Now, when you're talking about high school kids and pizza, that's not really a big deal, right? But if we shift the conversation from pizza to money, then this idea of consuming absolutely everything that's placed in front of you as quickly as you can actually does become a big deal. It's not putting God first with your money, and it's just unwise. Students, we are right in the middle of a series talking all about money and how God says we should manage it. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, dude, I'm in junior high. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. You're old and dumb. First of all, ouch, that hurts. But second, you probably deal with more money than you think you do. I mean, do your parents ever give you a few bucks to go out with your friends? Maybe they give you some cash to go shopping for back to school clothes. On your birthday, a card shows up in the mail, or you are one of the lucky few who has grandparents that realize that you'd rather have cash for Christmas rather than a hand-knitted sweater or something like that. Maybe you don't have a real job, but you babysit every now and then, or you do some yard work for some people in the neighborhood. You might have a system with your parents where you do a bunch of chores and they pay you every week in allowance. Whatever your situation is, I bet if you kept track of every single dollar that enters your hands over the course of a year, it would be in the hundreds of dollars, maybe more. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, yeah, right, if I make hundreds of dollars a year, how come I'm sitting here with 64 cents in my pocket? Well, the honest truth is that you didn't save any of it. Or if you did, you didn't really save with a plan and a purpose, and you've spent it already. Now, I'm not here to beat you guys up over that. Most of us here in America, adults included, have a real problem with saving. In fact, I was doing some research on this, and I found something that was just mind-blowing. Do you know how much the average adult will earn over the course of their working life? Experts can safely estimate that the average American will make between $1.5 and $2 million over the course of their working life. $2 million. So if most people are making $2 million over the course of their lives, how come most people don't have big piles of money saved up in the bank? See, the question is not that whether we earn enough, it's whether we save enough. See, most of us treat our money the way my buddy and I treated pizza. We consumed all of it as fast as we could the moment that we got it. And so what does this have to do with you in junior high? Well, the simple fact is that just because you're dealing with smaller amounts of money doesn't mean that the principles for success are any different. Students, if you would learn now with the little bit of money you're managing in your daily lives to save just a small portion of that each and every time money comes into your possession, you will completely transform your financial future. Now, this isn't just some idea I cooked up or some get-rich-quick scheme. No, this principle is found all over the Bible. And let me tell you, one of the clearest places it says this is in Proverbs 21:20. It says, "The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend everything they get." And guys, we've talked about Proverbs before and the whole wise and foolish thing, but in case that's a new concept for you, you want to be wise, you don't want to be a fool. Now, in that passage, there is this cause and effect correlation built right into it. See, the fool doesn't have wealth and luxury because they spent everything they got. And the reverse is true as well. The wise person has wealth and luxury because they didn't spend everything they ever earned. They saved a little bit at a time, and that built up into great wealth. And here's the deal. I realize that talking about responsibly saving up money slowly over time sounds about as much fun as making out with an angry badger. Really, I get it. But if we want to win with money, we need to learn how to save a little bit of it every time it comes into our possession. Guys, the simple truth is that saving money now paves the way for fun later. Or put another way, when you save today, you get options later. Here's what I mean by that. When an opportunity shows up to take a trip or to buy something amazing or to be extravagantly generous and help somebody out, if you have saved and have money sitting in the bank, you get to take that opportunity when it comes along. But if you don't, you spend everything you get as soon as you get it, you have to let those opportunities pass you by. When that trip or that thing or that moment to be generous comes your way, you won't have any options. You'll just have to wave goodbye to it while you eat ramen noodles and cry. Guys, I know that working and waiting and saving for what you want is not what we see promoted all over Snapchat and weird YouTube ads where some guy tells you that you can live in a mansion and drive 7 high-end cars by the end of the week if you'll just buy his guide to life. We are programmed to think that we need what we want when we want it, and so we spend all of our money as quickly as we get it to try to attain that. As we get older, we start spending more than the money we have and taking on debt to try to get these things that we think we're supposed to have. And guys, let me tell you from experience that owing somebody else money and trying to figure out how to pay that back is no fun at all. It gives you less options every time. Students, if you can learn now to start setting 10% of every dollar you make aside in savings and carry that on through adulthood, it will absolutely transform your financial life. When options or opportunities come your way, you'll be able to choose whether or not you want to capitalize on that rather than having the choice made for you because you don't have any money to deal with it. And let's face it, we all want options, right? I mean, right now when your friends decide to go to the movies at the last minute, or you break your skateboard deck and have to replace it, or in a couple years when you get your driver's license and realize that cars are really expensive, wouldn't you rather have some money stored up in the bank so that you can make the choice on those options rather than just letting them pass you by and hoping for a bucket of cash to fall out of the sky? And so today the challenge is super simple. Commit for the next month to setting aside 10% of every dollar that you earn, are given, or that you find on the street. And that's 10 cents for those of us that are bad at math, by the way. If you will set aside 10% of everything that you earn, every time your dad gives you 20 bucks, you get your allowance, or your grandma sends you cash in the mail along with an Elmo birthday card because she doesn't realize you're not 5 anymore, save 10% of that for a month and see how much stacks up. See how easy it was to live on less than you made, and take what you've saved and multiply it by 12 and realize that that's how much money you could have saved over the course of the year if you committed to doing that. Students, we want to handle money the way God says we should handle money because that leads us to the best life possible. And when you save today, you get options tomorrow. If you want a life that is marked by what Proverbs says the wise man will have with wealth and luxury and the ability to capitalize on options before you, you need to learn to save. If you can develop that habit now and take it with you through adulthood, it will absolutely transform the rest of your life.